Down 99.
Watch do.
Audio levels 2 and 4.
Exchange 2 for 1. Where's the best place? We're coming online.
Hello everyone, this is what you've been waiting for. Amazing. Hi everyone, I'm Ratchet and this is 3D TV, the first fully 3D animated announcements. So stay with us and we'll tell you the most recent news. Coming soon to 3D TV. $140 million miles away, one small robot holds the key to a robot planet gone mad. Imagine a world where one computer rules over an entire planet. Imagine the robots. See the robots before the robots sees you. Premiering on May 8th for 3D TV. On today's news, we got the 1980s, so which I'm going off of the list here, and let me go off of the ones that I know of. First, we got ourselves MTV. Around the 1970s, there were only a bare few amount of TV channels for people to watch, but around the 1980s, there was a whole boom of TV stations for people to watch. One of these was MTV, a music video TV channel. It provided music videos of upcoming artists, popular songs, and etc. And yet it was extremely popular since it was a way for artists to at least express themselves, and yet for new people to hear the music. And yet for technology, we got ourselves the IBM computer. So which, around the 1980s, IBM released the IBM PC, which allowed for people to at least go and use computers for the very first time. Of course, it was quite primitive of the time, since, of course, the 1980s, they had primitive technology. So the computers themselves were not really too powerful. But yet, they were definitely a step up, and yet a way for people to at least go and have that, in which we will see a boom of it soon. We got ourselves VCR, and yet I'm trying to remember what it stands for, but yet I can't remember. But yet, it was kind of just VHS. It would allow for people to record broadcasted material, just if you're not there. Let's just say if you're gone, you can at least record it, and yet watch it later and watch it over and over again. And in fact, that actually kind of leads on to the next thing, camcorders. Since since not only can record TV, but also they can record home video. So thus, people can at least record home movies, projects, or other things. But we're definitely a staple of the 1980s and part of the 90s, but not as much. CD players, which allowed for people to at least listen to music, and a lot more of it, since its predecessor, the Sony Walkman, which has used cassette tapes to listen to music, and CDs provide a lot more of a larger storage and a lot more better quality. And then we got ourselves Nintendo Game Boy. This was a very popular console. And yet, why is that? Well, you see, handhelds did not really exist back then. They did, but yet they were the Tiger handheld, in which they only had like one or so game on there. So which for this, the Game Boy could easily be changeable. You can change the game onto it and play several games. And not even just that, you can play with other people. And not to mention, they at least make sure to keep the price down just so it's affordable to everyone. And which is actually kind of the reason why the Game Boy itself has a bad screen. Iconic moments in the 1980s. Pac-Man Fever. Around this time, Pac-Man was just released, and yet everyone loved it. We got Prince Charles marrying Lady Diana. Cool. And yet we got the fall of the Berlin Wall, which will soon be followed up by the Soviet Union collapsing, so which I guess the Red Scare is now dead. And yet we discovered the Titanic after so long. And yet we got the Chernobyl meltdown, in which it's, yeah. And yet for fads and trends, the biggest things that were popular around this time were Rubik's Cube, Etch-a-Sketch, a Swap Watch, and a Magic 8 Ball. And I guess for some honorable mentions, we got the Pogo Wall and the Garbage Pail Kids. And yeah, that's it for the news today. And yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day.